What the Apple? They put so many good things in the iPhone 17 starting at $800 that honestly, this is the perfect phone for about 90% of people. So that's why I actually decided to do this video on the iPhone 17 and tell you guys just how good of a deal this new phone actually is. I'm a little blown away. I have to admit, I'm a little blown away because I always expect little incremental changes in these new iPhones, but this was a big step up. It was so big that it made the other phones, the more expensive ones, look like less of a good deal. Okay, let's talk about the screen first. Now, the iPhone 16 was a 6.1-inch display. This is a 6.3. The way they did this is they slimmed the bezels around the phone. The phone didn't actually get bigger, but they slimmed the bezels so the display inside looks bigger. Very nice. The iPhone 17 is actually going to look even slicker now. Also, this new screen is 3000 nits versus the iPhone 16 2000 nits. That is a 50% brighter display. That is a huge improvement. 2000 nits versus 3000 nits. It's 33% less reflective, which is always welcome. And for the biggest improvement of all, it is now a 120 hertz display. We have been begging Apple for like the last 4 or 5 years. It just makes everything move so smooth and so slick. Huge advantage for everybody that's gonna buy this phone. They also added the always on display, which is fantastic. And the screen also gets down to 1 hertz refresh rate. So when the always on display is actually on, it doesn't burn the battery like it usually would. That's why it didn't have the always on display before, because it needed the 120 hertz and down to 1 hertz display in order to save battery life. Not that they couldn't do it, but your battery life would have really suffered. Imagine melting butter in a hot pan. That's what the 120 hertz display feels like. It's just smooth. So on top of the screen, what they have is the durable ceramic shield, their version of like Gorilla Glass that protects the phone. And this is the second version that they have on this, which is 3 times more scratch resistant. And this is, I think, all across the whole phone lineup right now. Now, if that wasn't enough, now they have an 18 megapixel front-facing camera. Awesome. Big perk about that 18 megapixel camera is it has dual capture, which means that you just take the picture and then you can reframe it however you like. You no longer have to turn the phone landscape mode to take a landscape size picture. That for me is it seems like a small upgrade, but the convenience factor, just because I take pictures all the time, that's my main picture device is my phone. Now that kind of perk for me is an incentive enough to kind of to think about upgrading, because if I can just pull up my phone and just take the picture and actually reframe it in landscape later, now that without losing anything that was in the picture, you know, those are the kinds of things that really make me want to upgrade. Also, the rear cameras bumped up to 48 megapixels each. They have the main camera at 48 megapixels and you have an ultra wide at 48 megapixels. They have stepped up the whole camera system front and back. Okay, now let's jump over to battery life. Battery life also took a huge leap forward. The iPhone 16 is rated for 22 hours of video playback. The iPhone 17, 30. I don't know what they have done or why they're doing this now, but this is a huge advantage. And now it starts, the basic storage starts at 256 gigs. So you have the screen, you have the camera, you have the battery, and you have the more storage for the same price. This $800 price tag on this iPhone 17 is so good right now that if I had to recommend somebody a phone, this is the phone to get. Usually, I don't see the benefits of upgrading year after year, right? It's like it's not big enough improvements year after year. But this year, it's kind of different. This is why I'm making this video, because I'm like, you guys, if you want to upgrade, now is the time. Get the iPhone 17. Like, don't even, unless you know you need the Pro for some reason, for like something else that you're doing that you already know you want that. I can't really recommend that for 90% of people. The iPhone Pro is just not as good of a deal anymore. That being said, I'm getting the Pro because I love the new orange color. I know that's just about as vain as it gets, but the new orange, I also record all my videos on the iPhone, so I do have benefits on being able to record ProRes and all that. There's camera functions in the Pros that I personally would use, but for the regular person that just uses it for the phone, the iPhone 17 is where you should stay. Honestly, if you're thinking about upgrading, now is the time. Get it. I'm honestly probably going to recommend this to my mom because she's still with the iPhone 11, and considering what this phone has, it is a huge upgrade for somebody like her, especially with the 11. I mean, this is a good upgrade for the 15 and the 16, but if you have an older phone, don't even think about it. If you have the money, get the iPhone 17, don't even look back. All right, guys. Anyway, I'm gonna go do a little more investigating on these new phones and everything else that Apple announced, and we'll be back soon with another video. Peace.